Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Well, another quiet day. That's quite common when we're dealing with corrective patterns. And it's again one of these days, one of these times where we're dealing with a wave 4 and a wave 4. That's the current idea. So in the scenario that we're currently tracking, which is a local downtrend, we are dealing with this ABC structure that we talked about in previous videos. A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. And basically the idea is currently that as long as we're holding below this descending trend line and below the resistance area that I mentioned yesterday in my first video earlier today, that there should be one more low. As I mentioned earlier already, and I did post that on Twitter, we are forming here, the market did hold, did actually form a sort of healthy fourth wave. If you're interested in short-term updates, also feel free to follow us on Twitter, on the X network. Posted earlier today that the price has formed a healthy wave 4 and that another lower low on the micro level is expected in the region between 37K basically and 38,340. We're going to take a look at the live chart in a minute, but basically, as you can see here, the market didn't really move at all today. Okay, so it's just grinding its way through the current correction. One reason why I'm also showing you this here also on Twitter is, again, there are scammers around, there are impersonators, and I have to say that more frequently these days, especially in an overall bullish market. Make sure, please, that you don't reply to anyone who's contacting you directly on Twitter, on the X network, or on Instagram or anywhere on social media with our logo. They are scammers. We would not contact you personally directly and try to ask you for money, for funds or anything. Very, very important. I have to take these 1 or 2 minutes sometimes in the videos to make you aware, because for most people it's clear, but not for everybody. By the way, I also posted an interesting long-term S&P 500 update. So if you want to check that out, feel free to go to our Twitter channel. You'll find the link for that in the description. Please, please, please make sure that you only use our official account. You also find that on our website, morecryptoonline.com. We do get them banned, the impersonators, but they just reappear, right? Every brand has a problem with that. Okay, so let's zoom into the 1 hour time frame. This current correction here, as you can see, it hasn't really changed. We have a rally into resistance. Here, the market did react to resistance, to that area between 40,290 and 40,720. As long as the price doesn't get a sustained break above it, lower is expected. One more low into that region that I already mentioned. More specifically here, between 37K and 38,340. But there could be a specific cluster here around 37,915. Okay, it could be an impulse down. It could also be an ending diagonal. I'll take that micro count out here because it could be an ABC to the downside, but also potentially a 5-wave move. Now, does it mean we have to get another low? No, of course not. Of course not. It simply, what this wave count does, it tells us what is the resistance. The resistance is 40,720, which means if we see a break above that level, and I think we are close to a low. I mean, we might get another low. We might not, but so far we are in a correction. We are holding support, okay? So the 35K level is main support. It's not a target, it's support. As long as we're holding that level, overall medium-term, long-term uptrend is unfolding and can continue to unfold. Then, if we get a break above resistance, that's only the start. That's only the initial indication that a low of sorts has formed. Yeah, not just a local low, but a more substantial low. And then we need to watch for an impulse. If we don't see an impulse that's large enough, it could form the blue count. The blue count is simply an extension of the fourth wave. That's probably what I will observe first for risk management purposes, that this fourth wave will basically reset and it's just still unfolding, and this is just forming a larger W, X, Y structure or ABC. Doesn't matter so much now which labels it has, but it could form a more extended correction, especially if we see a reaction in this resistance area between 43,468 and 46,564. We really need an impulse to the upside, followed by a 3-wave corrective pullback to suggest that all of wave 4 is already complete. At the moment, clearly we don't have an impulse. So it's basically this region where I'm watching for a more substantial bounce to the upside. If it's impulsive, then the low formed already in the wave 4. That's what we expect at some point from here in this support area, as long as the 35K level is holding. We're just watching for an impulse, okay? We're just watching for an impulse to form. If it forms before breaking below 35K, then I call the move up a wave 5, and this wave count remains, my working count at the moment, because we're currently holding support. This is the wave count that's currently being tested. I mean, the micro count, I don't even worry about the micro count. That changes in corrections. That's completely normal. So we say it's not a bug, it's a feature. That's what they do in corrections. As long as the micro count is changing frequently, we basically know that we are still in a correction. Because they just do that. There are more than 10 corrective patterns. As I say, don't trade the count, trade the levels. The closer we are to invalidation points or pivots, the better the reward to risk ratio generally for a trade. And yeah, I think these are all the parameters you really need. Hopefully tomorrow we get a little bit more of an interesting day, and I'm watching very much for either another low into that specified target area down there. If we don't get another low, then this structure to the downside would look a little bit incomplete. And if we don't get another micro low here and we see a break above 40,720, then I'm going to follow the blue pathway, which will simply mean that the 4th wave is extending a little bit. And that wouldn't be a surprise, because 4th waves are oftentimes sideways corrections. What we have here at the moment looks pretty much like a sharp correction. But with, for example, a high X wave and the Y wave down, this could form a nice sideways correction. Or it could form a triangle. But there's no evidence for a triangle at this stage. We need further waves for that. Yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're interested in daily updates, video updates about the S&P 500, as well as regular updates about some stocks like Nvidia, Tesla, for example, PayPal, then check out our stocks and S&P 500 service. You'll find the link directly below the video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.